This is our Smart Touch control. It is the newest platform that we have for our controls. We've retained a lot of the functions of the Dri Air, but we've really stepped up the controls in regards to communications and diagnostics. So if we go to the home page, this shows us our two drying hoppers. We hit start. You can hear that the hopper valves turn on, which is going to allow the air going to each hopper and also control each hopper. When I turn the hopper off, not only does it turn the controls off, but also pneumatically shuts the airflow off to the hopper. That allows you to clean the hopper. So we'll stop the unit right now and we'll just go into the main control. We'll go to the setup, which is really the nuts and bolts of the unit. So we have a 7-day timer, system, alarms, factory settings, setback, and loader receiver. These all have been unlocked through the factory settings login. So the first thing is the 7-day timer. This is a 7-day timer that turns the Dri Air on and off on a timed basis. So that is all configurable through the front here, and you can disable or disable each day as you go along. We move on to the system. This is all the internal temperatures, all the internal settings, everything from hopper calibration, dew point calibration, degrees F and C, or setting up an IP address so that you can put this on your network. Alarms, these are all different alarms that we have built into the controls, so everything from loop break alarm for the process temperature, which means if the Dri Air does not come up to temperature within a certain period of time, it will go into an alarm, and we can set the setting there for how many degrees delta we want to get to. Along with that, we have a middle loop, bottom loop, dew point alarm, all built into this unit. Factory settings, this is the configuration. These controls are able to be configured whether it's a portable unit, one hopper, portable unit 2, such as this, or soon to be a hopper bank unit. We can set the number of hoppers, we can set activate setback, pressure switch detection. So all of this is built into these controls. Setback, we have our traditional setback feature, which is basically we are monitoring the return temperature of the drying hopper. If the hopper comes up to temperature and is not being used, it will set the drying temperature back 30 degrees per the default. So the Dri Air is still drying the air, but is not in the active drying temperature range. And then we have the loader receiver configuration right here. So we can not only run one receiver or two receivers, but we can also run clean out and determine the feed times and clean out times. Going to the diagnostics, which is where some of the biggest features of this new controls, we have a monitor here that shows us all the inputs coming into the unit. So whether it's a pressure switch, low material alarm, proximity switches for receivers, those are all shown here. But outputs are also live here. So you can see whether something's turning on and off, and you actually can manually turn those on and off for diagnostics purposes. Excellent for a maintenance crew. You can monitor the drying temperatures, which is what's making the unit regenerate. It's watching the internal temperatures within the unit. That's what's really allowing the Dri Air to make its decisions, watching these thermocouples and controlling heats. These are actual true layout of the unit. So when you go to the back of the unit, you'll be able to see these thermocouple readings right on the back of the unit. So this is zone 1 and zone 2. So if you go to the back of the unit, it would be the zone 1 and zone 2. This is a trend graph which shows us the history of those thermocouples. So right here we can see process and dew point. These will be recorded onto an SD card and can be written to the SD card. This is important if you wanted some sort of validation or certification saying, was I running within my proper drying parameters. We have an event log here which shows everything from starting the Dri Air to stopping the Dri Air, switching zones, low material alarms, anything that happens within this unit, good or bad, will show up on the screen. And this has the same, probably about close to 7 to 9 days history on it. So you can scroll through, it has a date stamp and a time stamp. And then there's an alarm screen, which just shows you all the alarms that have happened. You can then delete the alarms once they've been cleared and diagnosed. There are also 3 levels of password protection. You have a normal operator screen, you have a technician screen, and then you have a factory login. So you can block out different levels of the controls depending on what you want accessible to the people. We have a recipe screen. This is a set screen where you can put in recipes or temperatures for different materials. So I can set this for 170 degrees. And let's say this is going to be job 3. So anytime you tell someone, hey, go run job 3 on this dryer, they can actually come in here, say, I want to run job 3, and I want it to go to hopper 1 or hopper 2. This will then push it into these values for your drying temperatures. So you can do it by material name, you can do it by job name, you can do it by the tool, by the customer, whatever you want.